Hello, I'm Rich Fippen and I'm the director of Bunch of Amateurs.
I'm Marc White, and I'm the one that swears a lot from Dorking Wanderers.
Right, so we're going to talk through the Hemel Hempstead game here, Mark. This one opens, well, we'll probably get to this scene in a bit actually, the Sam Howes scene. So, where do we even start? This is our first director's commentary, so I'm going to ask you a few questions about like the filming process and stuff. Like, how different is it for you to have a film crew on site?
Well, to be honest, I don't really initially think about it, mate, but I don't really, you kind of forget it's even there, to be honest, after a while. So I think it's real life, really. That's the thing. Some people say, is it really like this? Is it really like that? But and I speak to people all the time about it, and it's definitely a real life behind the scenes of a football club. This is what goes on.
Yeah, it's what I try and convey to people when they ask me, is that you and Barks are exactly the same whether the cameras are on or off. There's no playing up, and it's the same with the players as well. So, I mean, here we're in the FA meeting room, which is much more convenient for me. I can fit in loads of cameras. I'm really struggling to figure out how to shoot inside your normal changing room. This I like, so players are spread out. I can get tons of different shots. There's Ed Harris. Not sure he's a fan of the cameras, from what I can tell. But the players generally just ignore me. They let me go about my business. They don't. Have you even told them what we're up to? Have you ever discussed it with them?
Nah, I don't. It's not their business, is it? I mean, the fact of the matter is we're doing what we're doing, and it's great for the insight for the supporters and followers, and they're part of it. It's the Truman Show for those that like movies.
Yeah, in this team talk, you're in a fairly jovial mood. You do occasionally tease the players. That seems pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, listen, no one, unless you're sort of directly involved in sort of football management, you wouldn't really get it. There's so many different dynamics you've got, especially in a part-time team. People turn up on a Saturday or Tuesday, had a day at work. They might have issues outside of work. They might have had an issue with us on the Saturday, and then by Tuesday that you've got to get them to forget about it again. If you're a full-time team and you're 9 to 5, if you like, in the office, you go into the training ground the day after. You've got all of that time to work on the mental mechanics of the team. When you're part-time, one of the biggest skill sets is sort of the ability to 1 minute manage, 1 minute discipline, 1 minute reprimand, 1 minute praise, 1 minute have fun, because you need to try and draw out all these different characters and then get the ultimate objective, which is everybody on the same team. So, listen, I mean, I openly tell the boys, I'm tactical in my approach to them. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it for personal gain. I couldn't give a shit. I've got loads of friends, so I don't fucking need them. I'm genuinely doing it because I believe that that's the best way of us getting results. I think I'd rather make fun of someone who makes mistakes than I would, punish them badly, if that makes sense. Give them a chance to fix it in a jovial way first. Lots of different tactics.
You got Jamie O'Hara's. The first time I saw him around the ground here, he turned up and he was giving you a little bit of advice in your ear there. You got to listen to a man like that with his experience, right?
Yeah, mate. Jamie, listen, he's been there, done it. It makes you laugh really, because we play part-time football, and I'm fortunate because if you've got too much to say, you're probably not at this club. Because it's a club run by the management, not run by the players. But a lot of clubs, the players dictate what goes on. And I don't have a fucking barrel of that. I fucking hate footballers that, they're in part-time football and they talk as if they should be playing, in Friday night football on Sky Sports in the Premier League. The people that are really worth listening to are people like Jamie, who talks about his experiences and what's not. There's loads of value there. Jamie's a great guy. But the irony is, whether you're Jamie O'Hara or whoever you might be, you're just a human being. You've got the same issues on a Saturday motivationally to someone's still got to manage you, got to get you up for it, got to manage the failure, got to manage the success. So it is what it is, really.
We respect this opposition today, boys. Respect them a lot. Okay, come on. I'm pretty certain, according to Wheeler, they're a 3-5-2 because mate has just told Wheeler, and John the Bible said it as well. If they are, then this is where we need Callum, Baz. You are the overload. Okay.
So I don't always see you on the pitch having a word like that. It looked like you found out a bit of information late on. Does that often happen?
Yeah. You'll you might see something in the warm up last minute that they're doing their pattern or something. Or I think in the case of this game, one of their players told and the gaffer Lee, he messaged me. He watches this. And then they say, fucking which one? I don't blame him. One of my players told the opposition how he's playing. That'd be the last fucking ball he ever kicked. But I think someone gave us a heads up. He's playing wing back, so we knew it's a certain way, and we're planning for the game differently. So you just get him in and have a chat. But look, we plan every game meticulously, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not luck. It's not hot air from me. We've got brilliant coaches, brilliant scouting team, and I'm just the one that tried to glue it together.
This was a big TikTok, you forgetting that you had a coaching team working on the set pieces and then interrupting the set pieces.
I have fucking zero faith in our set pieces, right? And I'm not gonna, and me and Duke have a lot of fun about it. So what the fuck are we doing now? And I'll say, do they fucking know?
I want to put a mic on Duke just because it's really entertaining to me when he does get one, when one goes in, because he's so pleased with himself.
Yeah, but he claims it, even if it's fucking, one of his qualifiers is, if it's on the same pitch. Not actually what happens does happen. No, he does a great job with the boys, and listen, dead balls and set pieces, mate. When you're training once a week, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah, I saw Barks trying to do some set piece stuff on Tuesday with his new team. And I thought this is the first and probably the one and only time you've got before the season starts to do any kind of set pieces. Like,
yeah.
How much can you get into them? Oh, this was huge, and the amount of arguments that took place on TikTok over this one. Like, I get it because I've listened to you, and I know that Alfie understood it as well. But there's a lot of armchair managers who are saying you're out of order for having to go at Alfie there. He dropped deep to link up the play, but that's not what you want from him, right?
No. In that particular game, the way they were playing, it was the strikers had to stretch, and we wanted certain individuals to rotate in that space. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, it's important to be strong on how you play tactically, because players take an inch, take a mile, and this is especially that's why they're in non-league football. In fact, I won't name names, but one of our new players said that, once upon a time they spent 5 weeks in pre-season doing one thing and then come to the first game and the players just done their own thing. It don't happen here. I want them to know if we talk about how we're going to play, etc., that's how we play. But see, the net result is, Rich, that they enjoy their football more, they learn more, develop more, and the team wins. Great guy, Alfie Rutherford. Great family.
Yeah, he seems to listen to you, which has got to be an attractive quality in a player.
Well, he's got that rare ability that youngsters have these days to fucking listen. That's why he's so great, and he comes from good stock. His dad's a football manager in Step 4. Right. So he's probably been told his whole life in a direct way.
So I don't see you go long very often. Worked out here. You don't really encourage balls over the top.
No, I'd encourage more if I knew they wouldn't take the fucking piss with it. But it's a bit like when you say to a goalie, look, I don't mind you doing the odd long thing, and they just think, oh fuck me, here we go, green light, do what we want. So obviously we use it tactically in matches when we need to. There's situations it's better there than it is somewhere else, but it's not how we play, so we have to try and keep it on a factory setting.
With just seconds remaining, Dorking somehow carve out their best open play chance of the half. Matt Briggs picks out James McShane, but his shot is blocked before reaching the goal. It's all square at half time.
So you play a 3-5-2, right?
Yeah.
You're fairly consistent with that. Barks
Yeah.
has tried to introduce that, Holland Sports, but particularly in their pre-season friendly, they got smashed 7-0 by a Rhineland Prem team, Merston. They kept getting done in the corners, and the point I was trying to make on the commentary was it's less about the wing-backs not doing the right thing, it's the central defenders not really understanding how to deal with that.
Bloody hell, mate. Yeah, you've obviously been listening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wing-backs are normally just in a very simple role, really. They're normally wing-back v full-back or wing-back v wing-back. Like, it's the back three that have to do the thinking and the back three that have to know their role. They're often thrust into man-for-man defending. But you have to have a high press if you play 3-5-2 because we play a high press and we try to make sure that we take the attention off of our back three because we know they're man for man marking most games, so we'll just press high, try and get the keeper kicking long and picking up the bits. But listen, it's beautiful when you get it right and the players know how to play, and that's why we don't change loads of players. We ain't got time every year to teach a load more boys how we play. So, but when we get it good, we're good at it, mate. So it's an effective formation, it's relatively versatile.
Mark's disgusted.
We hate fucking people that dive, we don't like that, Rich.
Yeah, I had to cut quite a bit of that out, if I remember rightly.
Yeah,
You got quite upset.
I mean, I'm saying to the ref, look, he's fucking dived how many more times, you know?
Say one thing, if there's no contact,
Yeah, I don't see your players dive almost ever.
No, could I fucking tell him to get up?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever got an instance of that happening.
No, we don't dive in that. It's frowned upon, isn't it, in general in football? We don't dive.
But it's
about.
interesting because you are a fine margins manager, so you know that winning those free kicks in dangerous places could make a big difference. But you basically don't want to cheat to do
Well,
that.
if you listen, I mean, the rules actually this year have changed. But if someone gets contact, then they should go down. You know, of course, if it's contact that they can't continue on with. So if the contact prevents them from finishing a movement, a situation, then yeah, of course. But that's contact. But it's when they fall over or stick their leg out to catch your leg and all that crap. You know what I mean? I mean, basically, it's a sign of a fucking shit player in my book. Most of the boys that dive about in this football are fucking useless. They're better at diving than playing football.
Right.
Matt Briggs is busy getting in behind Hemel. His efforts eventually lead to a West Ogden drive that cracks against the Hemel crossbar.
You do also seem to hit the woodwork more than any team I've ever seen. I don't know if that's just because of the high ratio of shots that you have.
Maybe we've got big posts.
Dorking edging into the lead. It's time for Dan Gallagher to come.
I was talking to Dan about this actually. He's become quite an effective,
defending around.
I wouldn't say plan B, but like other option, right, for bringing on when you're defending a lead.
A rather disorganised free kick routine very nearly finishes Hemel off.
Yeah. He's fantastic, Dan Gallagher. And ironically, this is Hemel bringing on another 6'8" player. He's ironically Dan's he's doing really well this season, really well. He's pushed himself right in the reckoning.
Hemel pushing forward.
Dan's one of those boys on the team you need. He brings a different dynamic.
Third goal. Under pressure, Dorking hold firm at the back, and even when Barry Fuller is beaten, Dan Gallagher comes to his rescue.
This is a hell of a tackle.
That rattled striker Reggie Young's ancestors.
That's exactly what he wanted to do. They wanted a penalty.
Matt Briggs has
Fucking
Dorking's
hell.
last chance to make it 3, but at the other
There's
end,
one of Briggs's
Sam House
shots.
is out to make sure Hemel
So
get
here's the
He's passed it straight to opponents.
here's the big moment. Sam gives the ball away, gets away with it, but there's one goal in it. He's had an otherwise decent game, and like he made a really good stop in the first half.
Win nonetheless.
But I mean, particularly as that happened right at the end of the game, that was going to be right on your mind going into the changing room, right?
A goalkeeper's paid to stop the fucking ball. So, for me, a goalkeeper should do all the basic stopping. That should be part of the job description. Yeah, if they've had an amazing game, you sort of props to that. But when they fucking do their own thing and then risk everything outside of instructions, but you get footballers at this level have a lot of what I'd call blank spots. They just sometimes just forget themselves during the match. I think it's the difference, but to fine margin between semi-pro and full-time pro.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that is the fine margin.
I couldn't tell if you were joking here and how much you were joking here.
No, I'm serious. If that was short, that would have been your last ever.
Well,
I swear to God, I'm not mucking about.
I had to make a point. If you get told what not to do, I said to them before the game, whatever you do, don't play. It's a 3-on-3 situation in midfield. They play 3-5-2 as well. Don't play through the middle. Don't give them nicks because we're a better side and they won't get the ball off us. Keep it out wide and do what we do. And Sam just risked everything and had a bit of a blind spot, as I call it. And did I mean it? Yes, every fucking bit. I was fucking fuming. I'll say one thing, Sam's a great goalie. I think he'll go back up the pyramid, to be fair. I think his experience with us will be really good for him. You know, you don't want managers that you want. Listen, what you might not see or see enough of is the phone calls, the little bit of praise, and I'll go out of my way to 1 minute praise when they do things well, to make sure they really understand it. I remember the other day having a chat with Alfie Rutherford to tell him how brilliant he'd done this pre-season and to eyeball him and say, just so you know, this is how impressed I've been with you. We've got a young lad, Cameron Black, and when he turned up, I barely met him and said, look, I hate kids, they're all wankers, no one does fuck all they're told. They all think they're better than what they are. They get on social media, put red and blue fucking dots, but you know, you need to be fucking better than them lot. I bet you're a wanker like them. Literally. And this boy, he stood up to it all, and he's been fucking brilliant. And I pulled him aside the other night. I gave him 2 minutes of conversation that he'll never forget, and he feels brilliant about that. So I think it's important. Most important thing is that you say what you see. You're as quick to praise as you are to reprimand, and you run a very honest and fair environment. People need to know what to expect and when to expect it.
Yeah, sure. I think to your point there, the praise does go in when it comes up, but it's never going to be as interesting in a YouTube documentary when you'll be nice to someone and compared to when you're
fucking Marc White praises his players. What a fucking load of shit.
It's not going to make a good TikTok for me. So
what a load of bollocks.
That's not what I'm looking for.
Let's all be nice.
Yeah, we need a bit of conflict.
Looks like Jesus there, doesn't it?
Doesn't he? It's funny for me, I got Dan that day because I was standing next to him by the bench. And I struck up a conversation because I'm a Charlton supporter, and obviously his brother played for Charlton.
Yeah.
So I managed to strike up a conversation because unlike, say, the Charlwood mob, where I've been mates with some of those guys for 20 years, these guys I don't know. So for me to get on side with them, I need to have a chat with them first. So,
yeah.
So I had a chat with him and said to him before we went on the pitch, I want to talk to you after the game, and he was up for that. So and then it helps me in the long term because the next week he'll say hello to me, and now I've made a little friendship there. So that'll increase as the more interviews that I do with these guys, really. But a lot of people say to me, they learn a lot less about the Dorking players than they have done about the Charlwood players. That's something I want to rectify over the next season. I think I want to get more personality from them.
Yeah, Dan Gallagher is just the consummate pro, and he comes from an amazing family, but he's a credit to himself and his family. He is just a fucking dream. He's a man's man. If he's got an opinion, he'll tell you. But if you've got an opinion, he'll be reasonable. He's everything you wish every footballer was, and I couldn't run a football club that has wankers in it, and that's why they don't last long. There's been individuals at the club that have moved on quickly, that I think their mindset and approach to football and life is not on a par with me. Dan Gallagher's, I feel really highly about Dan.
Curbs used to do that at Charlton. You had to be a Curbs player to get in there in that period we had in the Premier League. And I remember Greg Shields signing from Scotland, the right back, lasted a few months before Curbs was like, you're not the personality.
You don't quite know the personalities till you get them in. Yeah. Ferguson used to do more work on understanding the personalities before he signed someone, he said in his book, than he did fucking their football ability. Do they tick a box for football? Yes, that's easy. We've got some videos. Then he'd speak to 1,000 people about their personalities. But the thing is, what I try to get into boys are, you want to win, you want to drink champagne, you want to be a title winner, you want to celebrate. During the course of the season, there'll be 18 of you There'll be highs and lows, there'll be injuries, there'll be opportunities, there'll be good form, bad form. And the reality is, get your fucking head around that, because that is how winning teams operate. And if you can buy into that and keep working hard, you'll be part of a winning opportunity, a winning team. And that's far fucking better than going down the road, playing every single game, blowing up like a fucking 4-quartina because you're playing twice a week, blowing out your arse, legs going, tape around your fucking ankles, legs, knees, thighs, and winning fuck all. That's how it works. That's how it is.
Good stuff. All right, well, thank you very much for listening, guys. This is the first Director's Commentary with me and Mark. You'll find a second Director's Commentary live soon on Patreon.
You need a good couple of hours to calm down. If we lose, no one wants to mention it, and the first one to mention it will go silent. So, but it is what it is. So they'll be happy tonight, you know.
In order to keep Bunch of Amateurs going, we need to grow. We need you to hit subscribe and tell your friends about us.